Dot Solutions. Add-on desires.
Hello viewers, welcome to our Solution Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Penugonda. This session is designed for aspirants who are preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express. Make use of this session. Now, our first article. To mark the World Day to combat desertification and drought, more than 5,000 saplings have been planted in the state of Rajasthan. So first we'll see when the World Day to combat desertification and drought is observed on. It is observed every year on June 17th. Next, the sapling of the plants done by the Rajasthani state government is under the initiative of the Harit Marubhumi. The Harit Marubhumi. So, what does this initiative talk about? Harit Marubhumi roughly translates into green desert land. Green desert land. So, to combat the desertification and to restore the land in the state of Rajasthan, the government has brought this Harit Marubhumi drive, through which thousands of saplings are being planted in the state of Rajasthan. You should also know that this initiative and this planting drive was done under the guidance of Mr. Shyam Sundar Jnani. So, you should know about Mr. Shyam Sundar Jnani. Shyam Sundar Jnani is the recipient of this year's Land for the Life Award. So, he is the recipient of the Land for the Life Award. So, who provides this award? This is an annual award provided by the United Nations Convention to combat desertification. So, we have a United Nations Convention to combat desertification. So, to prevent the desertification and to restore the land, the UN Convention to combat desertification was set up, and this was set up in the year 1994. As we are talking about the initiatives to fight desertification and to restore the land, we should know about one important initiative called as the Great Green Wall Initiative. The Great Green Wall Initiative. So, what is this initiative? Through this initiative, the African Union aimed to plant trees, shrubs, other vegetation near this Sahel region. So, we have a semi-arid region in the Central African part. This is called as the Sahel region, and this is just below the Sahara region. So, we have the Sahara Desert in the northern part of the African continent, and below it we have the semi-arid part called as the Sahel region, which is prone to terrorist attacks every now and then. And through the Great Green Wall Initiative, this African Union wants to plant this green vegetation for nearly 8,000 kilometers long and 15 kilometer wide area. So, for an area of 8,000 kilometers long and 15 kilometers wide, green vegetation will be planted. So, that's why it is called as the Great Green Wall Initiative. This was started by the African Union, and this was started in the year 2007. And there is one important objective the African Union wants to achieve through this initiative, that is to restore 100 million hectares of land by the year 2030. So, restoration of 100 million hectares of land by the year 2013 is one important objective the African Union wants to achieve through this initiative. Next, we have an article where the India's NSA and the Pakistan's NSA along with other members are scheduled to attend the SCO meet in the Dushanbe next week. First, we'll see about the SCO. Next, we'll see about the Dushanbe. SCO stands for Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So, SCO stands for Shanghai Cooperation Organization. this is a intergovernmental grouping. So this is a intergovernmental grouping or a intergovernmental body, and it is also the Eurasian grouping. So it is a Eurasian grouping of countries such as India, Pakistan, China, Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. So we have 8 countries in this grouping, which you can see here, and India and Pakistan were the latest joining countries in this grouping. In the year 2017, India and Pakistan were accepted into this grouping. So we'll see when this group was first ever time established. This grouping was established in the year 2001 at Shanghai, and it is a Eurasian grouping, as you can see here. So what do you mean by Eurasia? Eurasia is nothing but the combination of Europe and Asia. So in this image you can see how there are countries from both Asia and Europe. So we have the Russia, which is part of both Asia and Europe. So it is a Eurasian grouping. And what is the objective of this grouping? This is a group that is trying to promote security, political and economic relations between the member countries. So this is trying to promote security aspect, political aspect and economic aspect of these member countries. And you should note that the secretariat of this grouping is in the China, and every year this group will meet annually. So this year the meeting will take place in Dushanbe, which is in the country of Tajikistan. So we have the capital of Tajikistan, which is Dushanbe, which is hosting this year's SCO summit. Next we have an article where the European Union leaders are stating that they will impose sanctions on Lebanon leaders if they fail to accept the IMF restrictions and IMF deal. So we'll see about Lebanon first. Lebanon, you can see in this image, is a West Asian country. It is opening into the Mediterranean Sea. The capital of Lebanon is Beirut. The capital is Beirut. From last few years, and especially in the last 2 years, the economic situation in the Lebanon is very bad, and the World Bank has described the country Lebanon as one of the world's worst economic crisis since the 1850s. So what is the economic crisis that the Lebanon is facing? First, it has huge debt problem. Next is the huge inflation problem, and later, due to the inflation, debt, there is no economic growth. And due to all these reasons, the unemployment ratio in the country is very high. So due to all these reasons, the people are becoming more poor and poor day by day. So the European Union leaders are asking the Lebanon leaders to take the IMF deal, which will try to promote economic growth in the country of Lebanon. Next we have an article where the state government of Assam has proposed a 2-child norm to avail the government scheme. So what do you mean by the 2-child norm? Assam government is stating that if a person have more than 2 children, then he might not be eligible to use various government schemes. So to bring down the fertility rate in the state of Assam, the Assam government is proposed to bring these restrictions. So what is a fertility rate? Fertility rate talks about the number of children a woman will give birth on average in her lifespan. So if you say that the fertility rate in the state of Assam is 4, then that means every woman on average in the state of Assam will give birth to at least 4 children. So to reduce the population and to reduce the childbirth in the state of Assam, the government of Assam is proposing to bring in this 2-child norm. And you should also note that in the state of Assam, there are already some regulations which state that if a person have more than 2 children, then he cannot get a government job and he cannot even go and contest in the local election. So already there are some restrictions to reduce the fertility rate, and the government of Assam is planning to bring one more restriction to reduce the fertility rate in the state of Assam. Next we have an article where the union government for the first time has invited all Jammu and Kashmir parties after making the Jammu and Kashmir a union territory. So in the year 2019, we have seen how the state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated and it became the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the union territory of Ladakh. And the Jammu and Kashmir is made a union territory without a legislature. So it is a union territory without even a legislature. So to possibly bring election to the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the government of India is inviting several political leaders from the Jammu and Kashmir, and the seat delimitation is likely on the agenda. So what do you mean by the seat delimitation? It is nothing but the fixation of boundaries of territorial constituencies. So delimitation is nothing but fixation of boundaries for territorial constituencies. So what do you mean by fixation of boundary for the territorial constituencies? We generally hear the term 50 seats for the state of Assam, 100 seats, 100 MLAs in the state of Gujarat, like this. That means that there are 100 MLAs in the state of Gujarat. So if you consider that this is the state of Gujarat, and if you hear the word that there are 100 MLAs in the for the state of Gujarat, then that means the Gujarat state are divided into 100 constituencies. So you will have first 100 constituencies, and every constituency will elect its own MLA. And after every census, in general, the boundaries of this territorial constituency might get changed. So this year, this part may be a territorial constituency, but later, if there is any increase in the population of the state and increase in the population of the constituency, this same constituency might be divided into two constituencies. So the fixation of boundaries for the territorial constituencies is called as the delimitation process. And after the revocation of special status and after making the state of Jammu and Kashmir a union territory, there was no delimitation process. And if you want to conduct elections in the state union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, you first need to delineate the constituencies so that election can take place in these constituencies, and that's why the government is making this request or making this invite to all the Jammu and Kashmir political parties. Next we have an article where the United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution that is condemning the coup in the Myanmar, and it also calls for the arms embargo. So we'll first see what do you mean by arms embargo. Every country in general will have to import some weapons from other countries, because a single country might not be able to produce all kind of weapons. So this country might import weapons from China, it might import from USA, it might even import weapons from India. And the United Nations General Assembly, if it brings in arms embargo, it states that these countries cannot export their weapons to the country which is in the discussion. So as the arms embargo is called on for the country of Myanmar, the countries, that is the other countries which are planning to export weapons to Myanmar, cannot do so. And if a country is not following the arms embargo, and if it is exporting weapons to the Myanmar, then not only the United Nations General Assembly and the UN bodies will bring in sanctions on these companies which are exporting, but also it will bring in sanctions on the countries which are allowing these companies to transport and to export various weapons. So for example, if the country China is exporting weapons to the Myanmar without following and without giving respect to the UN resolution, then UN might impose sanctions on China. This is called as the arms embargo. And you should note that India abstained its vote in the recent UNGA resolution. Next, we have an article where the country Australia has moved to the World Trade Organization regarding its dispute with the China. From the last few years, we have seen the relation between the Australia and China is going down. And last year, when Australia has asked for a probe into the origin of the COVID-19 virus, China has reacted very strongly against it. And as a result of this, China has imposed sanctions on the Australian wine. Australia imports millions of worth wine and alcohol to the country China. And as a retaliation of the Australian government requesting for a probe to know where the COVID-19 has originally origined, the Chinese government has imposed these restrictions. And as a result of it, it is stated in this article that from $325 million of wine trade from Australia to China in the first 4 months of 2020, they could only export just $12 million worth wine goods. So, for the first 4 months of 2020, Australian winemakers have exported nearly $325 million worth goods, whereas for 2021, they could do so only for $12 million wine products. This is a result of the Chinese government's restrictions and impositions of duty on the Australian wine. So Australia has went to the World Trade Organization. As this article is dealing about the World Trade Organization, we'll see a brief background about this World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization was set up in the year 1995. This could do so as there was an agreement called as the Marrakesh Agreement. So in the year 1994, the countries around the world have signed the Marrakesh Agreement, and as a result of it, the World Trade Organization was set up in the year 1995. So what does the World Trade Organization does? It provides the rules on the basis of which trade can happen between the countries. So it provides the rules on the basis of which trade can take place between the countries. And the current Director General of the World Trade Organization is Miss Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So you can see in this image Miss Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She is the first ever female Director General of the World Trade Organization, and she was appointed to this post in the 2021 February month. Next, we have an article where the Minority Affairs Ministry has launched a program to improve the vaccine awareness, and it is planning to rope several community leaders. From the last 2 years, when the COVID has struck the country, we have seen numerous fake news which is asking the people to not take vaccines, and as a result of it, there is huge vaccine hesitancy among the people, and this is especially so when it comes to the minority communities living in the country. So to remove the vaccine hesitancy and to increase the vaccine taking by the minorities, the Minority Affairs Ministry is planning to launch a program, and this is titled as Jaan Hai to Jahan Hai. So this is titled as Jaan Hai to Jahan Hai. And to promote this vaccine taking and to remove the vaccine hesitancy, the Minority Affairs Minister has stated that it is planning to bring the religious leaders of Sikh, Muslim, Christian and other minority communities on board so that there is reduced vaccine hesitancy in the country. Next, we have an article where the Venezuelan opposition is trying to seek US support. So we'll just see where Venezuela is. Venezuela, you can see in this image, is a South American country. The capital of Venezuela is Caracas. And the present president or the leader of the Venezuela is Mr. Maduro. Mr. Maduro is the current head of the country of Venezuela. And with this, we have come to the end of the session. Inform about ADOTS initiative to your other aspirant friends, and you can visit our website to attempt mock test based on these daily current affairs videos. Thank you for watching.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.